So I've sold everything I own. I quit my job and all I have is about 3 boxes worth of stuff left. We're leaving in about 10 days. 2023 is officially here, which means in about 3 days, I'm gonna be getting on a plane and beginning my journey of living in a new country every single month for the next year. Couple hours, I'm gonna be heading to the airport. I'm getting really excited. My goal for this trip is to really explore as much as I can of the city. I'm gonna be showing you guys everything. I'm gonna be challenging myself to see everything I possibly can. I'm doing different challenges and trying different experiences, and so I'm really excited to be bringing that to you guys. Well, we just barely made it here. It's been a long day. I've had a lot I had to deal with. I mean, my Airbnb was canceled. I'll tell you a little bit more about that after, but for now I'm just walking to a variety store trying to find a couple of beers, and that's about it. It's day 2 already, and we crashed for about 12 hours last night, so it's already 1 o'clock. We're just going out to get some coffee and then explore a new town. I guess now's a good time to explain why we decided to come to Grenoble, or Grenoble. We decided on smaller cities as opposed to larger ones, 1 for the price, but 2 because you are less of a tourist in these types of cities. We've been walking around for about 20 minutes now, and already I do not feel like much of a tourist. Like, there's definitely some tourism going on in this city, but not to a dramatic sense. The mountains in the background definitely make something different. Something about the Alps with all the little towns on the train in. I didn't get to film a lot of it because we were so stressed out about our accommodation situation. Oh yeah, I was supposed to tell you what happened with our Airbnb. So basically we showed up in France, saw a text message from our original Airbnb that said, "Oh, sorry, we've sold the place. You don't have a place to stay tonight." Essentially. So we contacted Airbnb, and after hours and hours of being on the phone with them and back and forth, the Airbnb owner came in last minute and helped us out and got us in here. Like, we didn't have to wait around or anything, so ended up working out in the end, but it was definitely made for a hectic day. So just walking now, we're gonna walk across the river over here, and everybody's out already drinking and whatnot, but we just had a coffee because we just woke up around noon. So one of the other main reasons that we decided on France as our first country was because obviously I've never traveled around the world before, and I thought I'd start off in a country that was a little bit easy. I've been to France before, but then on top of that, I also speak a tiny bit of French, as you may have seen in a couple of other videos, though very poorly, but it's come in handy here a couple of times already. So after checking out the city, it was time to go grocery shopping. These grocery stores are so strange because we have no real, like, food or brands that we know. At least I can find some familiar cereal. It's kind of tough here. One of the things I'm really struggling to adapt to is not going to a single grocery store to buy all of my groceries. So you have to go to a butcher to get meat and a bakery to get bread and like a grocer to get like produce. And you gotta go to the grocery store if you want to get any more of like the processed, you know. I'm getting used to it, but it's definitely a bit of a culture shock. Without being shocking, like I knew I'd have to do it, but it's still very weird because I just walked into a grocery store like, oh, I gotta go somewhere else now. After a quick sandwich, it was time to show you around the neighborhood. So this is our little neighborhood here. It's a nice, quiet little residential area, which is quite nice. We were able to sleep in. You know, not a lot of noise, you know, not a ton of people, but just enough that you feel safe and secure. Lots of shops nearby and whatnot, but not on every street corner. There's sort of some main streets where you can get your food. And one of the other things so far that, you know, has been very obvious is how friendly everybody is here in comparison to like Paris. You know, I've been to Paris a couple of times before, and some people can be pretty nice, but a lot of people, they just kind of shrug their shoulders at tourists and any English speakers. But here, everybody's very, very friendly. They try to work with you as much as possible. Yeah, I've been here about 24 hours so far, and so far I think I've made a good choice. It's already feeling a lot better than being in a big city, that's for sure.
After a long day of exploring and absolute exhaustion from jet lag, it's time for me to head home and take a nap.
So even though it's been a long couple days, it's Saturday night. We're going to go out and grab a couple of beers, find a couple of bars, and of course I'll take you guys along the way. Well, the pub's pretty packed tonight, as you can see behind me. Everybody's out tonight. It's about 9, 10 o'clock. It's nice we've been out here, and just being Canadian gets you a free shot. Well guys, it's day 2. I'm just walking to go get a coffee. It's about 7:30 in the morning, and I'm kind of gearing up to go. I just want to really get into it today, and I'm a little surprised at how dark it is here at 7:30 in the morning. It's actually almost like 7:45, and it's still fairly dark. I don't know if it's because of the clouds or the mountains or what it is, but it's very strange to me. But I'm going out to get a coffee. Hopefully there's somewhere open where I can get a coffee. It doesn't serve coffee at 7:30 in the morning, like. Well, I thought I might as well check Google Maps to see if any cafes were open, and not a single one was. I was shocked. Like, they're not open until like 8:30, 9:30. Like, even Starbucks isn't open until 8:30. Like, it's not that early. Like, I can't believe it. It's not even kind of early. At least in my opinion. I mean, I'm always a bit of an early riser. It's really sinking in that I'm not going home anytime soon. Like, you know, I wasn't sure when certain feelings would hit. I knew certain feelings would hit, but I wasn't sure when they would. And it's hit me pretty quickly. I didn't quite expect it to go the same way. Oh, well, I found one. And then I have to remember exactly where this place is. I just kind of walked around and finally found one, but thank God. Well, I got my coffee, and luckily I did have to walk around because I just found a market that's like a 5-minute walk from where we're staying. So like, that's really, really good because we still need to buy some meats and cheeses and whatnot. It's still early. Everybody's still setting up. Some of the stalls are closed at the moment, but it is Sunday, so.
Apparently, absolutely everything is closed on Sundays. So unfortunately, I had to head home and just rest and relax for the day. I had to put off some of my other plans until later on in the week.
Today we're gonna go check out old Grenoble. Gonna see what it's like there. Apparently there's some ruins there or something of the old town that we can go and see, so that should be a pretty good time. This is kind of weird. I wasn't really expecting when I looked down that I'd see a bunch of coffins. They're all empty, of course, but man, it's a little bit. It's kind of like some dark tourism here. So we weren't quite expecting that it'd be like basically a giant crypt. We can see all kinds of bones and other things. I kind of thought this would be a little bit more of a chipper event, but I guess you can always be surprised. This monastery was built in 520 AD, and it really shows. I'm not sure it's quite an appropriate thing to be showing, to be honest. You know, came to see history, and this is a big part of the history here. You know, sometimes history isn't always the most positive thing. In fact, usually it's kind of negative. Well, unfortunately, that is not quite what I was expecting to see. I thought it was going to be a little bit more of just an archaeological site with some old buildings and statues, pottery, that kind of thing. I didn't quite realize that it was just a monastery. least we got something, you know, our first site that we really got to see, something more than just, you know, walking around and eating some food and, you know, kind of experiencing the city as a whole. It was our first real site that we got to see. But either which way, I'm glad I went. I just thought it would be a little bit more of a cheerful end to the video and not so dark. So after seeing a little bit of history and seeing around the town, thought I'd share a little bit about me. My name's Zach. I grew up in between Toronto and Niagara. After living there my whole life, I decided to move to Ottawa, Ontario. It's the capital city of Canada, where we've had a really great time. I've went around, I've seen lots of things to do there. I had a ton of fun, but about 6 months ago, my fiance said to me, you know, we should start traveling. We should give this a try and start trying to travel full time and see what we can make of it. And so we started to do the research, and you know, it seemed more and more possible, and it got to a point where I said, you know, either we can keep talking about it or we can do it. So we started working on selling all our stuff and, you know, planning out this trip and booking the tickets, and it took a long time to get it all figured out. It was a lot of stress, but now we're here. We're going to be going for, you know, about the next year to a new country every month. We're going to be trying to see as much as we possibly can. I'm going to constantly be bringing you videos and all kinds of different content. Also on my Instagram, I'm going to be posting a lot as well. But yeah, like, this is the city of Grenoble. This is where we're living for the next month. Well guys, I think I'm going to end the video here. Hope you guys decide to come along with me on the journey. I really hope if you enjoyed this video, you decide to subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. Yeah, I'll see you next time.